everybody. Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2200 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos versus Death Holy Death of the Dark Elves. And this is just one more of our 2200 point battles for the Rock Wars GT. We're prepping because we are coming for you. And when we get there, it will be glorious. And, you know, we like to play the game, so that's our excuse. Here's my list, which you've seen a million times. This is the submitted list now, so there will not be any changes, no matter how much you might wish there were, because to change it now would be bad. I'm pretty sure that the TOs would be mad and they would hit me in the face with blunt objects. But I have my General Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Marquisine. She's level 4 Wizard, Cast Armor, Charm Shield, Dragon Bane Gem, other Tricksters, Shards, Soul Feeders, Flaming Wrist, Scaled Skin, and Laura Metal. My hero choices consist of an Exalted Hero, Lady Elizabeth, with Mark Zinch, Halberd, Chaos Deed, BSB, Helm of Many Eyes, Dawnstone, and Poisonous Slime. Last but not least is Catastrophe, my Exalted Hero. He's got the Mark of Zinch, he's on a Demonic Mount, he's got a Halberd, Shield, Talisman of Preservation, and a Third Eye of Zinch. My core choices are 5 Chaos Warhounds, the Corn Dogs, and they're naked, because you don't put ketchup on corn dogs, you just don't. 18 Chaos Warriors, the Reavers of Ulthon, with Mark of Corn, Halberds, full command of the Banner of Rage, and 15 Forsaken, Corns Forgotten, with the Mark of Corn. My special choice consists of 5 Chaos Knights, Elizabeth's Honor Guard, with the Mark of Zinch and Sorcered Weapons, Band of Musician, and a Standard of Discipline. And of course, my rare choice, the one, the only, Snuffleupagus, my Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list is as follows. His general is his Dread Lord, Dread Lady, Lydia Bleakflower, Dread Lady of Harganeth. This is a different list. He has changed his list up a little bit, so pay attention if I haven't already lost you. But she's got the Sea Dragon Cloak, a shield. She's on a cold one now. She's got the Ogre Blade, the Dawnstone, and the other Trickster Shard. And then we have the Supreme Sorceress, Lily Bleakflower, Supreme Sorceress of Harganeth. She's a level 4 wizard with a Dispel Scroll, Talisman of Preservation, and the Lore of Life. His hero choices are a Death Hag, Julietta, Lady of Lacerations on a Cauldron of Blood, and Talaris Dreadbringer, the Special Executioner choice, and the Master, Idir Housecarl of the Bleakflowers. He's the BSB on a cold one with heavy armor and the Sea Dragon Cloak. His core choices are 18 Witch Elves, Kane's Caress with a Standard, 5 Dark Raiders with Light Armor, Shield, Spears, and a Repeater Crossbow, 5 more Dark Riders with the exact same kit, and a unit of 13 Dark Shards with known as Barbs of Hate. And that's it, they're just a naked unit. His special choices are 28 Executioners, Kane's Wrath with full command and Banner of Swiftness, a unit of 8 Cold One Knights with full command, and 2 Repeater Bolt Throwers. Here are my spells, which are 4 from Metal, because that's all I need. And here's his spells, which are 4 from Life, which is all he needs. Here's deployment, and as you can see, I don't have a clue what I'm going to do. No. For the most part, my Demon Prince is over there on the left flank using the terrain to cover himself from the bolt throwers, because I still have a phobia of them. I figure he'd shoot around the corner, Laura Metal, the Executioner Brick, and the Witch Elves and all that other stuff, just trying to get rid of them. He's, what's it called, Catastrophe and the Beast are in the forest, because their plan is to just, well, Catastrophe's going after the Bolt Thrower or the Fast Cav, and the Beast is just going to try to get his spell off on the Fast Cav while hanging out in the forest so that he's at a further -1 to shoot at me. Meanwhile, the dogs, the Corn Warriors, and the Knights are just going to crash into anything they can. My Knights and my Forsaken, I was kind of hoping we were going to hit the Cold One Knights. Meanwhile, the Corn Warriors could charge into either the Witch Elves or the Executioners, just in the off hope that they can kill them, because the Executioners don't get the rerolls, but everything's going to wound because, you know, they need 2s. So, but that was the plan anyway, and that's why I deployed as this. Here's my opponent's right flank, which really just consists of his Bolt Thrower and his unit of Witch Elves. And here's the center. From left to right, we got his Executioners with Talaris in there, and I believe his level 3 sorcerer. Or I'm sorry, level 4. His Lily is in there, the Lord Choice Supreme Sorceress. He's got another bolt thrower in the forest. He's got both of his units fast cav, which have vanguarded up to the middle. His unit of cold one riders with his BSB and Lydia attached, his general. And his left flank, which consists of the little pew pew guys. Here's my right flank, which is, well, really just Corrin's Forgotten. And then my center, which consists of, from right to left, Lady Elizabeth in her unit of knights, my unit of Corrin warriors with the dogs in front of them, Snuffleupagus, my beast, and Catastrophe in the forest. And my left flank, which consists of my demon prince, Lord Tremendous. So, we go to top of 1, and here you go. I got to go first. Yay! I decided, since I'm going to go first and I can't do anything else, we're just going to shoot forward. His fast cav provided a nice little blockage there so that his cold one knights couldn't charge my knights. So I moved them up there. I knew his dark riders were going to move and all that other garbage. I really didn't care. The idea here was now they have to move. The Forsaken moved up as fast as they could. The dogs and the Corn Warriors moved up pretty good. The dogs stayed back just a little bit because if the fast cav did charge them, I wanted to be able to countercharge with my Corn Warriors, just stuff like that. The beast moved up out of the forest because the Demon Prince came up, and I decided not to leave him behind the rock there because there was only 2 bolt throwers. I wasn't really too concerned about getting him killed, but just in case, I put Catastrophe in front of him so that the bolt thrower in the forest would have to shoot through Catastrophe in order to hit the Demon Prince, giving him the hardcover save. And if the other bolt thrower shoots at the Demon Prince, well, hopefully the Charm Shield kicks in, or the Ward Save, or he fails to wound, or there's the second coming, or whatever. It was a gamble, and that's what I went with. Nothing else happens. My magic phase is easily dismissed. He uses his scroll to stop final transmutation as executioners, which would have been glorious. And everything else fails to go off. I don't have any shooting because real men don't need it, so we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and you're looking at it. They're elves. They don't move a whole lot. The executioners tilted, the witch elves tilted, the cold ones passed their stupidity check and backed up. The dark riders understandably moved out of the way, and that's it. They're elves. What did you expect? During his magic phase, he gets flesh to stone off on his cold one riders because God knows now I'm not going to charge them. And then I'm pretty sure that this was a bolt thrower that just took a pot shot at my knights. I think he was trying to kill 2. I was able to ward save 1. So that worked out. Then over here in combat, the Dark Riders take some pot shots at the Forsaken and actually kill 1, which was both sad and wrong. With all that said and done, we go into top of 2 after movement, and as you can see, I moved. My Forsaken charged the, what's it called, the little shooty guys, the whatever they are, bleak shooters, I can't remember. His crossbow unit, they make it. They needed a 9 or a 10 to make it too, and although I lost a couple of guys on the way in, they actually made this long-ass charge. I was very happy about that. My knights stayed where they were because I didn't want to charge toughness 6 cold ones. It just didn't seem like a good idea. Plus, Lydia's in there, and I knew she was just going to eat everything that or eat all the knights, or refuse to challenge something. It would have been really bad. My dogs move up just in case the executioners or the cold ones decide to charge, and just to kind of be like a speed bump. And Catastrophe, I believe, slams into the bolt thrower, a long-distance charge there that he made. Meanwhile, my Demon Prince moves up to give the Witch Elves and the Executioners something to think about, and the Beast moves up so he can put his spell on the Executioners or the Witches, depending on how froggy I'm feeling. There's a better picture of the Forsaken charging into the crossbow shooters, and a couple of my Forsaken don't make it. But you know what? The rest of them did, and that pretty much spells the end for the crossbow guys. And there's a better picture of Catastrophe getting rid of that bolt thrower before it gets rid of my Demon Prince. Over here in combat, because once again my magic phase is easily dismissed by my Dark Elf opponent, I do end up losing 2 of my Forsaken. I think I got Armor Piercing or Poison. I think it was Armor No, it was Always Strikes First. So we went Simo. I got to rerolls though because I have Hatred, and there was nothing left whatsoever. I killed every single one of those crossbow-wielding Dark Elf scum. And I did lose 2 Forsaken for my trouble, which broke my heart a little bit, but what can you do? And Since they're frenzy, they have to overrun, and what a huge overrun. I was positive my Forsaken were screwed after this because I figured the cold ones were going to charge them and just mutilate them, right? No, I overran 11 or 12 inches, something ridiculous, and completely got out of their charge arc. So not only did the Forsaken take care of a unit for me, but they saved their own lives with their frenzied overrun. It was great. And then over here, lo and behold, Catastrophe can actually hit and wound and kill a Bolt Thrower crew. So that's awesome too. And he turned to face the Witch Elves because, well, we all know where they're going. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and there has been some. The Elves actually came forward for a change. The Witch Elves charged Catastrophe, which I wasn't too concerned with. I gotta be honest. I figured 4 attacks from Cast, 2 from the Demonic Mount, plus a Stomp to their charge. 2 ranks, I think maybe a banner. I might lose by 1, maybe 2, but the Demon Prince is right there. I was feeling pretty froggy. I was feeling like I probably had a chance in that one. Meanwhile, his cold ones, even though Flesh of Stone's gonna wear off soon, they are they move up a little bit, probably with the hope that they would get Flesh of Stone off again. And why not, right? And his Executioners move up, but they don't take the bait of the dogs, because, ooh, shocked. Other than that, not a whole lot. The Dark Riders pretty much stand still, so they don't take any negatives when they shoot at my knights. There's a better picture of his Witch Elves charging Catastrophe, which is just rude. And, oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. The Cold One Riders did try to charge my knights. It was a long charge. It was like one of those, hey, Hail Mary shots, and Mary did not hail at all. So, yeah, he failed the charge here, moved up 6 inches, and that's where he ended up. So, yeah, that actually makes more sense. During combat over here, Catastrophe is able to kill like 5 or 6 of the Witch Elves. I do lose this combat by like 1, which panicked me really bad. But no, I'm sorry. I did lose this combat by 1, I think, or something like that. But I'm able to stay, or he's able to stay. Either way, nothing changes. Nobody breaks, and life is good. So, with all the fun over, we go over to top of 3 after movement, and I say to hell with it, and I go in. My Knights charge, my Beast charge, and my Demon Prince all charge Executioners, because the way I see it, if I was ever going to have a chance of killing this unit, this was that moment. That was it. That was why I charged. The dogs just kind of stayed there. They shifted over a little bit to the right. They were hoping to get in the way of the cold ones so they couldn't countercharge, but what can you do? The Forsaken turned to face the cold ones because I figured if the cold ones go into the flank of the Knights, then that combat's lost. If not, there's the dogs. I can feed them the Khorne Warriors. Maybe I can take care of the cold ones. Lydia's going to mulch the Khorne Warriors, but what can I do about that? The Forsaken can try to deal with the Bolt Thrower and get me those points, but that's really where I was with that one. It was just a crapshoot. I didn't know how I was going to deal with those cold ones because, Flesh to Stone and Searing Doom were really... Or I'm not Flesh to Stone, I'm sorry. Final Transmutation and Searing Doom were my answer for the cold ones, and I just couldn't get it off on them. But yeah. Here's a better picture right here of my Demon Prince, the Beast, and the Knights all slamming into the Executioners. And all in all, that's a pretty good combo, And during the magic phase, I am able to get off Genna's Golden Hounds. It's a direct damage spell, and the Bolt Thrower was in my forward arc. So I got it off, and I was able to do like 3 hits, and I rolled 2 6s. So yeah, the Bolt Thrower died, got tore apart by dogs, which I thought was pretty cool. During combat over here, Catastrophe... flubs a little bit. I lose this combat by 1. I need an 8 to stay, and I roll a 10. And then I roll a 4 to flee with 3d6 minus the lowest. Yeah. I lose a friggin' hero character, an unkillable hero character, because I lost combat by 1. Sick to my mother effing stomach with that one. But it is what it is. He got ran down because he's a putz. And, that seems to be his death nail anyway. That's why my old BSB got crushed and thrown away, because he would break like that and die. So, really not happy with him. But it's my 2200 point list. It's already submitted, so there's no change in it. But come on, man. You lost by 1. There's no reason to flee, you retard. Oh. Over here, though, combat goes, pretty much the same. Talaris, he refuses the challenge from Lady Elizabeth, and Talaris goes to the back. I lose 3 Knights. I lose my Beast. The Demon Prince is fine. He does a little bit of damage. I think all in all, I kill like 7 Executioners, and I lose the Beast, and I lose 3 Knights. To be honest, I'm not even sure. If I think I might win this combat because charge flank, banner, and 7 wounds to 8 wounds, rank banner. So I think I win this combat, but it doesn't matter because he's steadfast and the BSB is literally right there. The only bonuses, since the knights died, so many of them died, I actually am no longer in his charge arc. I am just barely outside the charge arc of the cold ones. So that's something, but oh my gosh, I just completely flubbed this roll and my opponent knocked it out of the park. Well, you know what? Even so, I should have never charged my beast into this combat. That was really stupid on my part, but sometimes I do stupid things because, I don't know, maybe I'm a bimbo on my inner sides. I don't know. But yeah, I felt really stupid about this afterwards, and the beast paid for my stupidity. And I'm sorry, beast. I'm sorry. God, I hate it when I do stupid things. So anyway, now that that's all said and done, we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and there's been some. His cold ones charge my dogs, they flee. He needed an 8 or a 9 to hit my Corn Warriors, and as you can see, he hit them no problem when he redirected. His Witch Elves turn around to get into the Demon Prince, and his Dark Riders move up to try to deal with the Forsaken because, well, now that he's sensed the blood, he's going for it, and I can't blame him. His magic phase is washed away, and his shooting phase consists of his Dark Riders, which kill 4 friggin' Forsaken. It's a little ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is. You gotta take the good with the bad. So I still have a rank of 6, so I guess they're not out of it yet, but oh man, quit testing me! Over here in combat, the battle goes more my way. Talaris once again refuses the challenge from Lady Elizabeth, and instead I think the unit champion soaks it up. And so that's something. Lady Elizabeth is able to kill the unit champion no problem, and ends up, I think, getting +1 initiative or +1 weapon skill, something like that. The Demon Prince is able to put a whole bunch of wounds on the unit. They lose. I lose a knight, obviously, to killing blow because, well, that's why you don't charge cavalry into executioners. But whatever, it was do or die time. So right now it's just the Demon Prince and Lady Elizabeth versus a horde brick of executioners with Talaris and a level 3 wizard. So that's where we're at right now, and I win this combat, but they're steadfast and they stick it out. Over here in combat, my Corn Warriors don't do terrible. They soak up this charge pretty well, all things considered. I do lose like 9 guys, but I kill like 3 or 4 of the cold ones, and I think I even put a wound on his BSB. I'm not 100% on that, but I end up losing this combat, but they stick. They actually kept the... Oh, wait, no, that's not true. They don't. I lose this combat, and they break. I lose by 1 yet again, and my Corn Warriors flee. The Cold One Riders elect to not pursue because he wanted to get Lydia into the Demon Prince to try and save him, save the Executioners and win the game, which all in all isn't a terrible idea, but the Corn Warriors are a lot of points. They're over 300 points plus a banner, so probably closer to 400 points that he just let get away. So I kind of see what he was trying to do, but I think we talked about it afterwards, and I believe he believes that was a huge mistake. But you'll see what happens because we go to top of 4 after movement, and the only thing that happens really is my Corn Warriors rally. The dogs do not, which is fine. Corn Warriors turn to look over at the Cold One Riders because why not? They're not frenzied anymore, so they can actually see through the red haze. Other than that, the Forsaken move up slightly, and well, they did. I'm sorry, the Forsaken charged the unit of Fast Cav, and the Forsaken actually rolled boxcars, so they actually went 18 inches. So I was thrilled, and then the Dark Riders end up fleeing 10 inches. So it's like, ah, crud. So they got away by about 3 or 4 inches. So that was pretty good on my opponent to roll that hell. But that's pretty much what the board looked like. There's been a picture of the Forsaken fleeing from, or I'm sorry, the Dark Riders fleeing from the Forsaken, which is a little disheartening because I rolled boxcars. I was like, oh, cool, I got the Fast Cav. No, I didn't get the Fast Cav. They got away. It's sad. And here's a better picture of the dogs continuing to flee and the Corn Warriors rallying. Yay for the Corn Warriors. Over here in combat, Lady Elizabeth is able to get into a challenge with Talaris and finish him off, I believe. That or Talaris is already dead, and we kill off his level 4 wizard, which is also good. I don't remember exactly, but I'll take it either way. The unit of executioners takes a bit more damage, but they stick it out because they're still steadfast. And then we go to bottom of 4 after movement, and as you can see, there has been a little bit. The Dark Riders continue to flee, the ones that ran from the Forsaken. The other unit runs up to shoot at the Forsaken. Lydia and the remaining Cold Ones slam into the flank of the Demon Prince, and that sucks. Meanwhile, his Witch Elves come tearing after the Corn Warriors because, well, that sucks too. There's a better picture of Lydia and the Cold Ones and the BSB slamming into my Demon Prince because... And there's a better picture of his Dark Riders fleeing still because they failed to rally, which is yay! Over here in the shooting phase, his Dark Riders, those cowardly bastards, shoot at my Forsaken and kill 1/6 of the unit. So, yeah, that means 1 Forsaken out of 6 died, so that, whatever. And then over here in combat, oh man, Lord Tremendous and Lady Elizabeth are dangerous when in combat alone together. Lady Elizabeth finishes off something. I think it was Talaris. She ends up in a challenge and is able to kill, I think, the BSB. I'm not 100% on that one, but I think it was the BSB. The Demon Prince ends up taking all of his attacks and slamming them into the Cold Ones, killing all but the banner. Lydia attacks my Demon Prince and isn't able to kill him. I actually make a handful of my ward saves, which even with the reroll, I make a bunch of armor saves and I make a bunch of, ward saves. Even with the rerolls, I still make them. And then I soul feeder every single wound, because with Thunder Stomps into the Executioner unit, because my Demon Prince wasn't in a challenge, I had enough wounds done where I was able to actually soul feeder all the wounds back. So my Demon Prince is full strength. Lydia and the Cold One and Executioners, they lose this combat, but they end up making their break checks. But now I got them on the ropes. The only one left that can accept or refuse a challenge is Lydia, and she can't refuse it. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. So we go to top of 5 after movement, and there's not much. The Forsaken turn to face the Dark Riders just to make them move, because I'm not putting them into the Executioners. And if the Dark Riders are going to be able to shoot my Forsaken off the table, then they're going to shoot my Forsaken off the table. But bottom line is I'm going to try to get them to move. My Corn Warriors try to charge Witch Elves and fail because, well, that's just kind of what my Warriors do. And everything else is either dead or in combat. There's a better picture of the failed charge from my Corn Warriors into the Witches. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the dogs rally. And yeah, I kind of forgot all about that. That happens. I forget about my Warhound sometimes. During combat over here, Lady Elizabeth ends up in a challenge against Lydia. I don't think Lady Elizabeth is able to do any damage to Lydia, but Lady Elizabeth does take 1 wound for her trouble, which sucks. The Demon Prince does what he can. He finishes off the Cold Ones, which is great because that's a huge amount of points. And he Thunder Stomps the Executioners a little bit more. They're not all dead. Obviously, they're still steadfast, but it's going my way, and that's huge. So we go to bottom of 5 after movement, and there's not a whole lot. His unit of fleeing Dark Riders rally. The other unit shoots at the moves so that it can shoot at the Forsaken. And his Witch Elves make the charge into my Corn Warriors because it is what it is. There's a better picture of his Witches slamming into the Corn Warriors, and that should be a fun fight regardless. And there's a better picture of his Dark Riders who rallied, which is not okay. I'm not happy about that at all. Over here in combat, Lady Elizabeth is able to put 1 wound through on Lydia and make her armor saves, which is nice because she only has a 6-up ward and Lydia has the other Trickster Shard. But I'm able to make all my armor saves. I put 1 wound on Lydia, and then my Demon Prince just unloads the fury on the Executioners. I believe they are still steadfast at the end of this combat, but they do lose. The BSB is gone. Lydia, on the other hand, loses this combat by like 6, I think it is. I'm not 100%, but it's a lot, and she does not have a reroll. So Lydia ends up breaking, and so do the Executioners. Both units break. and I pursue both units. The Demon Prince goes after the Executioners and runs them down, and Lady Elizabeth goes after Lydia. Lydia gets away, but she's fleeing, and it's my turn next. So Lady Elizabeth is it's almost guaranteed she's going to catch Lydia and run her down and just get rid of her. So the Executioners are dead. Lydia is going to be run down. She's no longer a threat. The only thing he has left all of a sudden is his unit of Witch Elves, which are in combat with my Khorne Warriors, and 2 units of Dark Riders. So this game just took a huge turn thanks to the awesomeness that is Lord Tremendous and Lady Elizabeth. And look how, I love these two. These 2 models will always be in my army. I know, I say this now and in like 3 battle reports, oh look, I'm playing with a giant. But yeah, it's as of this moment, as of this battle report, I will always have these 2 in my army in some way, shape, or form, because they are the pwn. Speaking of getting pwned, the Witch Elves unleash the fury on my Khorne Warriors and kill 5 of them. I think I killed 3 Witch Elves. I don't even think I do that good, but I lose this combat by just an awesome amount. I think I needed 3 to stay, and I roll like a 4, so I think it was really close. But here's what ends up happening. I flee. I go like 6 inches, if that. So I'm like, oh no, my Khorne Warriors are all dead. The Witch Elves roll Snake Eyes to pursue. Snake Eyes. So how's that for awesome? So we go to top of 6 after movement, and my Khorne Warriors do not rally, and they flee another like 5 or 6 inches, not very far. My Demon Prince runs over towards the Witch Elves to try to stop them with magic. Lady Elizabeth, of course, charges Lydia and runs her. Either she runs her down or she runs her off the table. I don't remember which it is, but Lydia is long gone now, so that's awesome. The Forsaken turn to face the Dark Riders because they're going to move and they're going to shoot. I know it, you know it. Well, they might not even because it's top of 6. There's really no top of 7. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a better picture of Lady Elizabeth running off Lydia, proving once and for all she is the superior woman. And there's been a picture of my Khorne Warriors continuing to flee because they needed snakes. They were below 25%, so they needed snakes to rally, and they didn't roll it. So they ran a little bit further. You know, they needed cardio. During the magic phase, I get final transmutation off on the Witch Elves, and the idea with this one was to try to kill off as many as I could so that either destroy the unit altogether so that they couldn't charge my Khorne Warriors off the table, or make it so that they have to take a stupidity check. And with final transmutation getting off and doing some wounds and stuff like that, they're now stupid. So there's a tiny chance they'll fail their leadership role, be stupid, and not charge my Khorne Warriors off the table. So that was the hope. So with all that said and done, we go over to bottom of 6 after movement, and as you can see, there has been very little. The witches were in fact stupid. They failed their leadership check and could not charge the warriors because they just stumbled forward like 4 inches. The other unit of Dark Riders stay right where they are to shoot at my Forsaken, and the last unit of Dark Riders move up to try to finish off the Khorne Warriors and get those points. And this is where my opponent is like, damn, I should have pursued the Khorne Warriors, killed them, and then came back to deal with the Demon Prince and Lady Elizabeth. Son of a biscuit eater, right? Oh well. Hindsight. It's always 2020. There's a better picture of the witches who are stupid, which is a game saver right there. And over here, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. The Dark Riders don't stand still. They actually charge the Forsaken. Desperation, in my opinion, but whatever. It might have been a good idea. The magic phase doesn't exist, so we go over to shooting phase, and he kills one of the Khorne Warriors, which is fine because they're already fleeing. It's not like I only need 1 to survive in order to keep points from him. And then over here in combat, the Forsaken killed 2, he kills 2, he wins by 1, I roll a 4, and I don't break. So the last chance to get some points fails, and there's the end of the game right there. Really close game. Really close game. A lot of fun. A lot of ups and downs. A lot of nail biters. A lot of twists. You know, it was a lot of fun. And I like this new list that he's got. It's interesting. It's a little bit different. I'm getting lucky against it, so I like that too. Definitely a lot of fun, and as you can see, the battlefield is full of blood and corpses, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a second, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. But yeah, guys, after all was said and done, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up losing Catastrophe, my Knights, and the Beast. Everything else survived, if you can believe it. The Dark Elves lost Lydia, Lily, Talaris, Idyor, the Dark Shards, the Executioners, the Cold Ones, and 2 Bolt Throwers. They lost a ton. And you know what? That's fine with me because Dark Elves need to die. Nothing against Death. He's a good guy. But his army choice is just piss poor. I mean, I don't even know. But I do like his new list. I like the direction it's going. I like that's a little bit different. And honestly, I think if once his dice warm back up and they're not as cold as they've been, it'll walk through just about anything. It's really got a lot of punch. The Tremendous Elizabeth combo is truly amazing. I can't even tell. Well, I could tell you. You just have to go back and look at some of the battle reports. But yeah, for the most part, when those two are alone against an enemy and they have to beat them down, it's amazing what they can accomplish. It really, really is. And I truly enjoy watching like everything else fall away. But Lady Elizabeth and Lord Tremendous are like, nope, we're gonna just go ahead and kill the entire army by ourselves because that's what we do and that's why we're awesome. Also, the Khorne Warriors surviving the entire game. Getting their butts kicked pretty much the entire game. The Cold One Rider slamming into them, breaking them, and then choosing to let them flee. And then later on, when the witches slammed into them, kicked their butts again, and then couldn't catch them. And then they were stupid at the last possible chance to catch them and make them flee off the table. And so, yeah, just huge lucky that the Warriors got away like that. So if they hadn't, it would have been a much closer game. As it was, I won by a lot. But had the Warriors died, it might have been a draw. I mean, it was. I'm really glad they got away. I'm glad that my opponent, at the time they seemed like good choices, but in hindsight, now that we know how it all worked out. So I don't fault him for it. I'm sure he faults himself for it, but he really shouldn't. It was, a hindsight situation. But a crazy good game, one of the better twist and turn ones I've played in a long time. It was a really good time, and I'm truly enjoying the win streak against Death. Really, 8 months of just getting your teeth kicked in by the same guy is it's always nice to see it turn around a little bit, a little payback. I love you, Death. I'm just messing with you, buddy. But I'm sure that our rematch will be epic. And I'm sure a bunch of you are wondering, hey, why aren't there any narratives on this one? Usually Death and Tremendous do a narrative of some sort. To be perfectly honest with you, we are so busy doing the huge narratives for Tremendous Tall Tales now, we've actually stopped doing the narratives for our battle reports because there's just as you can see, this game took place on July 12th, and here it is August when it's coming out finally. So just one of those things. It's like, hey, we're working our butts off all the time on narratives in order to get Tremendous Tall Tales out. So that's why we're not doing narratives on the battle reports anymore. It's just it takes too much time. I'm sorry, guys. If you want great narrative battle reports, go to Mitterum's website. A bunch of his battle reports are narrative, and they're really good. They're really entertaining. And he's just, he's doing a better job at it than I am, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You want my narratives, Death collaborates and everything like that, go watch Tremendous Tall Tales. We'll have another one coming out in the next week or so. So it's worth it. It's fun. And, I like it because I do it. But that's going to do it for this battle report, guys. Number 134. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But, yeah, guys, thanks.